Welcome to the Hidden Driveway Show. I'm your host, Amu, and then joining me today we have a very special guest, BL00DSLIDE. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello. That's my introduction.
That's it? Nothing about yourself?
I thought that's what the interview is for.
Well, yeah, but like anything you want to say about like who you are, so if somebody doesn't know, they're like, oh, that's who BL00DSLIDE is.
I make some SoundCloud music and edits on Instagram a lot. That's what I do for the most part.
All right, and we're going to talk about some of that in this interview. Who would have guessed? But to get us started, is there anything that you would like to talk about? Is there anything that's on your mind right now?
No, I was just trying to mentally prepare for this interview. I was like going through my like origins and like musical influences and things like that all day
Yeah.
prior to this.
I mean, the day is like halfway over. Like, what'd you do? What'd you do today?
I woke up, I like walked around, I ate a couple of chips, and then I watched YouTube videos. I tried to get on FL Studio, and then now we're here.
Okay, I
And
think
that's like an average day.
yeah, I think we had a pretty similar day too. Like, cause I woke up at like I woke up at like 11, started my day at like 12, got lunch in my school's dining hall, and then watched YouTube for like 2 hours. And now I'm doing this. Like I haven't done too much today either.
I wake up, if I have to go to work, I literally wake up at like 5 in the morning. So, yeah, I start early. But I usually, like, because today's like a weekend for me, so I just like, I probably wake up at like 7 and then just like lay in bed, and then I get up later.
Yeah, I've had an issue recently where I have to have like a half hour like buffer time where I'll just like scroll on Instagram and stuff,
Yeah.
and then I can start my day. So I get that.
Yeah, the official wake up. Pre-wake up and the full wake up.
hmm Yeah. All right. Well, to go to our first actual question. So I've interviewed a lot of very awesome trans artists during my short time interviewing people so far. And it's the 28th guest. You're now the first cisgender woman that I've interviewed. And it might seem weird for me to mention that, but like as I'm sure you know, there really aren't a lot of like cis women that are making like I don't know what you would call your music, but just I guess like
Like,
underground, like hip hop, like
weird experimental, like, hip hop side of SoundCloud. Yeah, you're right, there really isn't.
yeah, there's like nobody else that's like really in your lane. So and plus you also produce too, which is even rarer, I feel like, because even with like, because I feel like with most female artists you can think of, they don't like produce
There's
their
a
stuff
lot who,
too.
like, yeah. There's a lot who, like, are good and, like, get on beats and stuff. Like, you know Hardcore Girl?
No, I'm not familiar.
She's kind of, like, in a similar area. Does, like, I don't think she produces, though, but she's really good, and she just, like, does vocals and shit, but that's, like, someone who's kind of in a similar area, I guess, as me, but yeah, there's not too many, I guess.
So yeah, given that I'm pretty curious on like I guess your like origin. So how did you first get into making music, and then who are some of your influences behind it?
So the main person I'd say that got me, like, made me feel like I could even start making music, this is probably not that surprising, but is Grimes.
Yeah.
So to see, like, that there, it all connects now, like, it makes sense. But I guess so I didn't first actually start making music until, like, 2017, and that was just on, like, an iPad on, like, GarageBand, and that wasn't up until, like, 2020, but, like, it was pretty much Grimes who I was, like, got really into and, like, started listening to, and then I was like, "You know what? She is a girl who, like, produces and does everything." So and then she gave me the inspiration to start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
And
like, the main origin person who, like, inspired me to start, but there's a lot of other stuff, obviously.
yeah, I mean, one person I thought of, I don't know if it is an influence, but do you know like Kitty? Are you familiar?
Oh, the, like, rapper,
Yeah, yeah.
Kitty Pride. Yeah, yeah, I like her a lot. I didn't actually start listening to her until, like, 2022 maybe, so, yeah, but I do really like her a lot.
Yeah, that's actually I think I found her in like March 2022, so like around the same time period probably. But yeah, she's awesome.
I was like, where was this when I was like in like 2015 or something, you
Mhm.
know? When she was like relevant, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really good.
And then any other, like, influences for your work? Because obviously it's not just Grimes when you, like, listen to, like, what you
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Well, okay, I would say top 5 for me, Grimes, obviously, Delcada, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, Black Dresses, and then, like, Sophie and Arca are, like, top 5. And then there's, like, just tons of others that I could go and list, but those are main top 5.
Yeah, that now that you say it, that makes sense. Like, if I were to put all of it into a blender, I would just get you, so
Yeah, and the thing is too, it's like, I wish I was better at, like, directly copying people, you know what I mean? But I just, like I don't have the ability to, like, listen to someone who I, really like one of those people, and just, like, directly, like, rip them off, but I wish I could, but I don't.
mhm.
That's why I guess, because like, people have told me it's, like, they can't, like, place, like, what the main, like, thing it's coming from, you know?
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on black dresses, like, breaking up recently?
Um, yeah. I mean, so you saw the very last, like, update video that Debbie did, right?
I didn't watch it, but I've, like, heard about, like, the financial stuff, right?
Well, there was a final update on it on the main Black Squares channel, where she basically was just like, "Guys, leave Rook alone. I got some things wrong. Be mad at me." That's, like, how the whole thing ended. But I do think, obviously, the breakup, because it was not that surprising for me, because 'cause I'll say I've been, like, an OG, like, Black Dresses fan. I got into them in, like, beginning of 2019, so right after Waste Isolation came out, and
Mhm.
I think right when, like, Thank You came out, so I've seen, like, the whole story and, like, arcs and everything. So, for, like, the first breakup, I think they've broken up, like, just the band, like, stopped posting music, has broken up, like, 2 or 3 times, but the actual, like, breakup with them, yeah, that was sad. That surprised me, but they're you just have to view them as, like, real people with, like, their own lives and stuff, but I still like both of them and, like, their solo music a lot. It is sad to see the end of, like, an era, because like, it has huge, huge, huge influence on me, but yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah. No, me and Alfred Murrows talked about it in his interview because he was also a huge fan, but he was just like it's kinda weird being there for a group that was, like, because obviously, like, people have bands they love that broke up, like, decades ago, so it's kinda weird living through
Mhm.
the same thing, like, now with someone that really
While it's,
inspires
like
you.
while it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and the Alfred Morose interview, I discovered them through I watched the interview, and then I saw that they like black dresses a lot, and I was like, "Oh, wow, another person." Because I think they're like are they the first person to mention black dresses on
I
the
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, because then I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, cool, another," because yeah, they're not mentioned very often, I
Yeah.
guess.
Also, I don't know why, but it always, like, surprises when people tell me they actually just, like, watch the videos in their own time. Like, for me, it's like I edit it, I put it out there, and then it it just kind of exists, and I don't really think about it after that.
Mhm. Okay, one thing I did wanna mention, I thought that was funny, so, right as this, like, channel, your channel, like, Hidden Driveway, like, started, so a bit before that so when did it start, like, last year?
No, it was in March of this year, so, like, not that long ago.
This channel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'm thinking, like, I must have had the idea earlier then, but then you started uploading, like, these, interviews.
Mhm.
But the funny thing is, so I don't know if you know about it or whoever, but the Realm99 channel, it's like a just like a musical like archive, not really like a label or anything, just like where I upload like friends' music and like music videos
Oh, wait, you
type of
run
thing.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, okay.
Yeah. So and I started that in like last year. And then I was getting like thinking of ideas and things I wanted to like do with it other than just like upload, video or yeah, songs and videos. And I was like, oh, I should start doing interviews and stuff. but I was already, like, spreading myself too thin, and that's probably, like, partial to the reason why I kinda took, like, a hiatus as of this year, but I was going to start doing interviews with people similar, like, this type of thing, but then, like, you started uploading videos, I was like, "Damn, he beat me to it."
I mean, you can still do it though. It's like I don't want to
No,
own interviewing small artists. That's stupid. Like the whole point is to
I know,
like.
I feel like you're the guy now. I'm like, he's you got, like, the Mercy and the Well interview, Porcelain interview, like, all those people. But, yeah, that's just a funny bit of backstory information, I guess.
Yeah, I've been meaning to say something about this actually, but I don't want to be like the guy. I don't. There shouldn't only be one person that's doing this because it's like the whole goal is to like help support all these artists. So it's like,
Yeah, and get more, like, stuff out there. You're right. But for me, I guess the main reason why I honestly couldn't do it is just because, like, it's already enough, like, trying to run your own, like, music career or whatever, and it's, like, adding running like, a whole channel, which I don't really upload as t on that much, but, like, trying to do that, and then also, like, having to be the one to, like, schedule, like, interviews and do that, I was just like, "This is, like, way too much, uh, on my plate." So
yeah,
that's mainly the I didn't do it because I was just like, "I'm already doing way too much crap." So,
yeah. I mean, there's definitely some
yeah.
artists, so especially in the like Realm99 space, where I feel like you would definitely do a better job than I could, just because you actually know all the people that are associated with that whole like community.
Yeah, like, sphere, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
like,
in a way, I feel like not knowing someone makes the interview kind of better in a way, because like, someone watching the interview might have 0 information on that person, kinda like the interviewer, so it's like I see, like, pros and cons to knowing the person and also not knowing them. That could make an interview better or worse.
yeah, it's just like I like to be able to have as much background info as possible. So in case somebody is like a huge fan of that person, they aren't like, why did they
Yeah,
ask about this thing? Like if I can like cover
yeah, yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I think your interviews are good though, so
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely think if you ever have the motivation, even if it's just do like one, like I think you
yeah.
should.
There's a couple people that I almost set one up and then, like, I just yeah,
Hmm.
failed.
Yeah, no, you're right though. It is a lot of work. I'm kind of worried now. I'm starting
Mhm.
college, like how that's gonna
Yeah.
turn out because like I have to record one of these every week and then edit it and then just keep doing that. They take like 6 to 8 hours to edit usually.
Oh, damn.
So
I didn't know you were the one editing them either. I thought you might have had another person edit.
no, I do everything besides the thumbnails. My friend Entropy Service does all of
Okay,
those.
that's I assume they might have also edited or something, but I don't know. But, yeah, that's a lot to do.
Yeah, he does edit videos, but it's just like I prefer being the one that edits them because that way I'm sure that like whatever I like want to cut out or whatever, like can just get cut out. I don't have to like tell the person like what to do.
Mhm, mhm. But, yeah, that's why I so that's literally, like, part of the reason why I do, like, everything when it comes to, like, my art, because it's like, I don't wanna have to I don't wanna have to, like I wanna get it right, and not have to direct and tell someone what to do, and just, like, if you want something done right, you do it yourself, like, that type of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Realm99 channel, so you've worked with a lot of artists over the years, but you have a particularly close friendship with Marietta Medicine, Delcada, as I've now learned to pronounce. I was saying Delcada before this. And then
Yeah.
Mercy and Mel, who I've interviewed before, as you said earlier. And you guys even got to take your bond and translate it into real life earlier this year when you met up in Idaho. But I want to look back for a second. So, how did you guys first meet? And then how would you say, like, being friends with them has, like, impacted, like, you, whether it's, like, musically or just, like, you as a person?
Okay, well, the, like, me and Delcado origin story is way longer and, like, more in depth, so I'll go into that one, like, later maybe, but like, how me and, Marietta and Mercy met. So, they basically reached out to me, like, they discovered my music, and I hadn't even started doing, like, stuff with vocals yet, so this was in, like, early 2021 probably when I started talking to, like, Marietta, I believe, and then maybe, like, mid-2021, like, with, Mercy in the Wild. And they just, like Marietta asked to just do, like, a collab with me, I believe it's like my memory is so muddled at this point. But and then we did the song PBS Kids, which is on a technically I guess my very first like EP. I don't even remember what it actual name is called, but because like half the songs are like deleted now. But yeah, so then we made that, and then we were basically like me and them were just like we're more like online friends, I guess you could say. But I obviously really like both of their music a lot as well,
Mhm.
and I just thought it was cool that people were actually like reaching out to me in any regard. So that's like the story kind of with those two, but with me and Delcada it goes a lot deeper than that. Because I was like a huge, huge, huge Delcada fan, like back in the day. So let's say like October 2019 was when I first like listened to their music. And because I all I would do like as a teen, like me as a teen, would just sit on like YouTube and just listen to music and just like go down YouTube rabbit holes and just like go on random like weird obscure like channels and just listen to songs with like 5 views on them. Like that
Mhm.
was literally all I did. And that's kind of how I got into like so much of the music that I'm into now. But so there's this channel doesn't it's under a different name now and the person I don't know what the deal is, but the channel is called Zeniac. Some people might know about that. And they just uploaded like obscure like SoundCloud shit on there. Like some people who were uploaded on that channel it kind of popped off now, like Kid Trash, Nosgov maybe was probably on that channel. But anyway, so I was really into Nine is Human, who some people might know about. So yeah, I was really into Nine is Human. I was listening to their music a lot, and there was a video with them featuring them and Delcada, and it's called Heaven Calling. And then that was the very first thing of Delcada that I saw, and I was just like completely obsessed with it. And then I started listening to all of their other music. The first like Delcada song that I heard that wasn't that was on the Zeniac channel, and it was called Your Savior. It's out there, Burn Again EP, which is like top album for me. Not just Delcada, but probably like of all time. And so I heard that song and I was like, wow, this is like the greatest stuff of all time. So then basically I became a huge Delcada fan. Flash forward to like March or May of 2020, I made a post on like my very one of my very first posts on Instagram, just like shouting them out and being like, I love your music, that type of thing. And I didn't think anything would come of it at the time. I just thought maybe they'd like be like thanks or whatever. But then well, they did say that, and then we just started talking like way more. And then I was obviously like starstruck because I was like, wow, I'm like obsessed with this person. And also, they were like the first person I even like became like friends with like online.
Mhm.
Because prior to that, prior to like 2020, like that's basically when I got like I have like no digital footprint, I'd say, like prior to like 2020, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I didn't have any friends real life or online. And then I started talking to them. And then once again, flash forward to like July 2020, we met in person. That happened. And then they like left, they went back. They pretty much got sober, like all of like 2021 and still are and stuff. And then we met again a couple times like in 2022. And then that 2023, they are going to school here, like in Idaho. And yeah, we see each other like every day now at this point. So that's the very long story of that. And then, like you said, we all met in last year. It's almost been exactly like a year now. And yeah, it was fun. We didn't really make any music. I think it's because I don't think that was really like on the agenda. I think it was more just like meeting like friends and just like hanging out and stuff and getting to know them like in that way. So yeah, that was fun, but how it like influenced my music and stuff, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like working with people and stuff, that has been like a huge thing to like learn, I guess, and like doing collabs and stuff cuz in 2022, I was just doing tons and tons of them. Like some of them aren't still up, but I was just doing like feature after feature after feature, and I was just like kind of getting sick of it
Mhm.
by like the end of that year. And then I got kind of burnt out, and also I was just doing like tons and tons of drugs at that time. So I basically just like crashed out at the end of that year. But yeah, that's like the story of all that stuff.
Mhm.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, like, surreal to talk to Delcada at first, because like, I've had the experience now with, like, Orange Cake Mix, where this was an artist I really, like, looked up to, and then I get to, like, work with him now on stuff, which is just, like, a really weird, like, shift, so I
Yeah,
imagine it's similar for you.
it is because like I make like a joke of it, but I say this like where I'm like Delcada. If I was like a K-pop girl, it'd be like a K-pop stan meeting like Jungkook or some shit like
Mhm.
that. So that was kind of like the equivalent of that. But like, and now it's just like normal. We're just like they're just like another like friend or whatever, like person I know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely that's and it's also weird too because it's not just like that was like the first of just like a lot of things, like the first friend I made like online, person I well not worked with musically, but like person who really influenced me musically. They're just like a huge part in like the story, I guess,
Yeah. 'Cause I think
which is
having
cool.
that, like, circle of artists is, like, super important too, just because it has, like I think seeing other people do the same thing you're doing or, like, in a similar, like, lane kind of inspires you to, like, go harder and, like, try new things and, like, collaborate more also, so
Yeah, and because all three of them were like really good, so it definitely pushes me, I guess, to be like try to also be better and stuff, and also just it's cool to just have like those people that you can always go to like make something with and you just already know that you kind of work well with and like the vision is kind of similar all your heads,
Mhm.
that type of thing.
Yeah. Moving on, so your name is Bloodstride whoa, that is not your name. Your name is Bloodslide, right? Which begs a pretty
Yeah.
important question. What's your favorite piece of playground equipment?
Probably a swing.
The swing?
Yeah.
Is there a
You know what's
specific
funny? Okay, the actual origin of my like online name or whatever is literally I just stole it from like some person in like I don't think I even knew them. I think they were like a person of a friend or someone, not my friend, but just like a person on someone's follower list, like, in high school, and I was like, "Oh, that's a cool name," and I literally just stole it. So, it's not a very deep, like, background to that, but yeah, I just stole someone's name and now it's mine.
Yeah, I mean, I have a kinda similar story because mine was from, like, a random syllable generator. Like, it gave me AMU, and then I just added an extra A to the
Mhm.
front, and that's, like, all there is to it. There's no meaning or anything.
I know, I think it's cool with people who do have, like, deep reasonings behind their names, but, like, yeah, it's always not always that deep
Mhm. But is there a reason that you're a big swing fan?
because swings are cool and you can go high and jump off of them.
Mhm. What would mine be? When I was in, like, elementary school, there was, like, a tetherball thing that they had there, and it was awesome, and then I remember when I was at like, I was in my school after school program, and I was there, and some, like, high schooler, because the high school would, like their bus would drop off at our school for some reason, but this high schooler,
Mhm.
like, picked it up and just, like, broke it, and it was gone after that.
I never liked tetherball. I always thought it was like I was like afraid to get hit with the thing.
But you can just move back, though. Like, it's not gonna go off the pole.
I was always also whenever like I was in like PE, I was always just afraid I would just get hit by a random like basketball or some
Mhm.
shit. I was just like on the defense the whole time.
Yeah. No, I had an issue with, like, baseball, like, I couldn't do baseball because it's just, like, a ball coming at you, like
Yeah.
do you have any, like, recess memories at all?
Okay, elementary school was like pretty cool for me. But like once we get into like middle school and high school, yeah, things just like fell apart. Like I said, I had like zero friends. I didn't get like bullied or anything. But I was just like I would be like that kid who like sat alone at lunch or actually in like middle school I didn't even go to lunch and in high school I would just like go to like the library or some shit and just like
Mhm.
sitting there. But yeah, but elementary school was fun. I don't remember that much. Like I said, it all got like that's when it all started, like in middle school.
Mhm. You know, I
The
know I was
sadness.
doing, like, role playing during recess and stuff. Like, I think I
Oh yeah.
I think I was getting involved in, like, warrior cat stuff, even though I didn't know what it was.
Okay, yeah, I was really into that too. I saw a person dissing that on their Instagram story and I was like, huh?
They don't know what's up.
No. Recently, Delcada, he got some of the we were in Chicago, like, not that long ago, and we got, like, 2 of the books and, like, kind of read some of them again, so that was fun.
Mhm. Yeah, I never that was one of those series I just, like, missed out on because I was really into, like, Percy Jackson and also, like, Divergent,
I
like,
didn't
Hunger Games. I just kinda missed warrior cats.
Yeah, I get that. I was never into, like, Percy Jackson stuff, but Warrior Cats, Hunger Games, and less so Divergent, I got in. But Warrior Cats, obviously, because as you can see, there's lots of cat imagery in the stuff that I make, so
Mhm,
I just like animals in general. I try to put that's something that I try to put into my art a lot just because I think they're cool.
mhm. Would you wanna be a cat if you just, like, one day, like, woke up and that was your reality from then on?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I'd just, like, go outside and, like, kill mice and
That's
sleep.
that's the first thing you would do is ki
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do.
I mean, I guess. I'd wanna jump off of things. I think that'd be my first thing as a cat.
That's true because they can jump from, like, really high
Yeah.
places and just be fine, and they can also get into really small places too.
Mhm. So, if you wanna be, like, tactical about it, maybe you can, like, build a little, like, structure and then jump off of it to kill the mouse.
Wow, that's a cool way to kill a mouse.
Mhm. So, moving on, so you talked about your YouTube channel earlier, and you're talking about your Realm99 one, but you also have your own personal channel, and there was a video, where you review Godiva chocolate strawberry ice cream on it, and you
Yeah.
gave it an 8 out of 10, right? I'm guilty of having a
Yes.
sweet tooth myself, and I see that you're a connoisseur over here, as you said yourself in the video. So, what are some of your other favorite, like, candies or, like, sweet treats?
Well, I'm an ice cream head in general. So, like, I literally had Dairy Queen yesterday, so that. It honestly, like, I just cycle through them. So, like, if want chocolate, I'll just, like I'm not very picky, honestly. I just like candy, that type of stuff in general. There's a point where I was like, I would just like not eat real food and just eat that, which is probably not very good, but
Mhm.
sometimes you just gotta live life to the fullest. Oh, you know those Haribo like colas or like
Oh,
gummy
yeah, I've
colas?
had them, like, once, yeah.
They're pretty good. I like them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'd say I'm just a fan of like candies and sweet stuff, just like in general. I'm not picky about it.
Yeah, any other, like, favorites, though?
I feel like Snickers is good, but it's basically just like a full meal as far as just like basic candies go.
Mhm.
I just I like milkshakes and stuff. I like Sour Patch Kids to a degree. Oh, one time I had sours, well not one time, but every time I feel like sour Skittles are good, but literally it like burnt my like entire mouth. And for like a week or two, I was just like my mouth was like third-degree burns on it.
Wait, and you said not once, so this is, like, a multiple, like, occurrence?
Sour Skittles, yeah, they're like a weapon you could use against people.
Okay. Um, I'm a big fruit snacks fan, and then, like, like, peach rings?
Yes.
I think those are
Have
probably
you
my
ever had the,
2.
like, Scooby-Doo kind?
A long time ago. That,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I, like, awoke something in me, I forgot about those.
I just love the, like, color of them, like the blue one.
Yeah, I like do you remember, like, the Spider-Man ones? Where it was, like,
I
his
don't know
head and,
about
like,
those
the
ones.
web?
Probably. I don't know, I just remember the Scooby Doo ones a lot, and then the basic, like, Welch, I
Hmm.
think that's what they're called, like, fruit candies. I don't like the orange ones. I will say I'm not a fan of orange flavor or orange candy shit.
I think you're missing out. Plus, I like when you like unpeel an orange and there's like a, I forget what it's
I
called,
like
but there's some sort of,
oranges.
okay, but so you like oranges, but not actually that makes sense because I don't like grape flavored stuff either, but I love grapes.
Yeah, the artificial, like, flavor, they don't get it right, but the actual real shit, that's where it's at.
Hmm. Yeah. So earlier, right, you were talking about how you had an EP and it was like your first EP, but you don't really know what's going on with it anymore because you don't even know where all the tracks are. But towards the end of
Yeah.
last year, you released an EP called Even That Won't Last, which is actually how I was first introduced to you through your song Please Don't Go Away. So I'm pretty curious to know how was working on that project.
Okay, so, even that one last is I would say, like, my personal favorite. It's obviously, I don't have a lot of, like, full projects on my SoundCloud or whatever, but that's still, like, just a top for me. I feel like I like it a lot, me personally, just because like, it encapsulates, like, myself at the time, but also, like, my, like, self prior to it. Because like, the samples on it, there's obviously, like, a Girl Interrupted sample. The very last song, there's, like, a Aeon Flux sample, which is, like, an MTV show. It's kinda looks like an anime, but it's not. So, yeah, there's, like, the samples that are on it and stuff are, like, stuff that I was, like, really into, like, as, like, a teen, like, I'd say, like, 2016 to, like, 2019 probably. But then also just, like, musically, I feel like it was just the first time that I, like, was able to make the actual sounds that I wanted to make, you know? And, like, okay, so some fun facts for, like, that album. The very last song, the outro, I made that and released it with the whole EP on the same day. So, like, that morning I made it, and at this time too, I was, like, barred out, like, constantly on Xanax, so,
Hmm.
like, I was probably just on a ton of Xanax and shit, and then just, like, made that and then released it with the whole thing. So, originally, it would've been 1 song shorter, but then that outro song was on there. And then so for Please Don't Go Away, which I know a lot of people like, the beat no, there was originally gonna be, like, a different, like, melody sung over it, but I, like, came back to it, like, later, and then I, like, redid it, and then that was the one that everyone hears the one that you hear now, that's the actual, like, thing that I decided to go with. So it could have been something different, but I, like, redid it, which I don't usually do that much. Like, once it's the vocals are done, then I'm just like, "Okay, that's it."
Yeah, I'm the same
And
way. Yeah.
also yeah, and yeah, I don't know, I just think it's, like, a good representation of, like, me and, like, also just, like, my skills at the time, because I think I'm a bit better now with, like, mixing and stuff, but I think it's just a good, like, representation of, like, me and stuff overall.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was made, like, over the span of, like, not that long, maybe, like, less than a month or something. Like I said, because I'd make, like, a beat and then, like, maybe sometimes go back to it, but yeah, I just think it's a good introduction to me also as far as just, like, how it sounds and stuff. But yeah, okay, that's all I gotta
Yeah.
say about that. If you have
No,
anything.
yeah. I really like how like I guess like slushy the like EP sounds.
Mhm.
Like
It's probably because I don't really didn't really still don't really know how to mix that well, and I think I just go more for, like, style over technical, like, getting it to sound right, you know?
mhm. I think it works like pretty well though because there's like a very distinct like vibe that your EP like all your music as a whole has where it's like I don't really get that from like other artists. The closest I can think of is actually one that I've interviewed before. I don't know if you know her, but Domino Paranoia. I feel like does kind of similar stuff where it's a very like kind of like busy but still like cohesive like sort of like soundscape if that makes sense.
Mhm. I think a lot of it is just due to, like, I like the layering of, like, just, like, sounds, but also because for me, like, I think it has that slushier sound, like you said, because, like, my vocals and how I mix them. I try to mix them kind of low in the mix, and that's mainly just due to like insecurity and stuff, which is something I've been trying to get better at. Like I think with the song I just released a couple days ago, or was it like yesterday? I think I'm getting a little bit better with bringing my vocals up in the mix more, but a lot of it is just like, and why it sounds so like how it does is just like me being insecure and how like people actually hearing what I'm saying, and then also probably like I for that EP in particular, I use like a lot of the same techniques of just like making a melody, putting grow speed on it, like half speed, and then which obviously draws it out, and then just adding probably like shit tons of like reverb to everything,
Mhm.
and like bit crushing, which I don't really do as much now, but I will agree it does sound like distinct.
Yeah, also, I was gonna say you do sound a lot more, like, confident on, like, your more like, on your new song.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I said, I only started doing vocals in mid 2021, so it's hard for me, and like I also can't like record vocals in front of like if anyone's in the same room. Like I don't know how people can do that, but I cannot do that.
Yeah, no, I met up with Entropy Service, like, back in February, and I tried recording in
Mhm.
front of him just to, like, do it just to see if I could, and it was still, like, really uncomfortable, like, I don't like doing
Yeah,
that.
it's like so awkward and like there's just too much like in the back of your head to like really get anything out.
Yeah, I do think if it's in front of, like, other musicians, though, like, they get it because they have to do the same thing. So, I feel
Yeah,
like
it, like if it sounds really like weird and bad. Yeah, I know what
yeah.
you mean though, because like they know the process.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, like, that I've talked about this have, like, done a similar thing where they'll, like, pitch their voice up or they'll, like, slow everything down or they'll, like, whisper to do their vocals because 'cause they're not, like, comfortable with how they sound yet.
Mhm, and that's why I do so much, like, pitching up because I also don't like how I sound, and like I said, like, drowning it kind of in the mix, and I don't know, I feel like I would take the tempo, like, if probably noticed, like, in that EP, like, the tempo is going all over the place. That's mostly just for, like, a creative thing, and also just because like, so many songs on SoundCloud or in this, like, specific genre or whatever, do the, like, sped up thing and the, like, weird mixing, the, like, stuttery, like,
Mhm,
2 Shanes kinda mix, that type of thing, and I just feel like that's just, like, my interpretation of it.
mhm.
I don't know, sometimes I think a lot of it is just, like, they're just mixed the mix sounds, like, really bad, like, the stutterings and shit that people do, but I try to do it in a way that's, like, makes sense to, like, what is going on in the song, I guess.
Yeah, for me, like, this is with your work, but, like, it bothers me when it's like, I just want the song to start already, and it'll repeat the same part, like, 8 times before it actually, like, gets into it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, also, I know you said you don't like your voice so much, but one of my favorite songs of yours, and I can't think of like the names off the top of my head, but like, and you did this for me with like your feature for my project also, but like where you just use your like natural voice with no like effects on it. I feel like those sound really good too because there is like a different way that you do your delivery to like pull those off.
Yeah, there is a my delivery, I feel like, just depends on whatever the project, like, requires, like, if I don't have, um what is it? Like, if I don't put, like, autotune on, then I usually kind of which is rare, but if I do not use autotune, I just feel like I deliver it in, like, a different way just because like, with the way autotune, like, is and, like, how it sounds, I know this is one thing that not a lot of people do, but like, have to hear myself while I'm recording, especially if the autotune is on, because like, I have to know, like, what the autotune is gonna sound like, how my voice is, like, making it work or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Yeah, I always have to, like, hear myself, which is odd because I also, like, don't well, I'm fine with hearing myself, like, now, like, the funny thing is when I very first started, I couldn't, like, even listen to my own voice, like, just in any context, and I've gotten over that a lot, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been there too. Like when I first started doing vocals towards the end of last year, so I haven't even been doing it that long. But I would speed it up so much that it sounded like a completely different person, and to me that was more
Yeah,
like
yeah.
listenable. The
I
what?
agree, I've done, like, the same thing too, and then other times I'll, like, if I listen to someone else's music who's, like, doing that, I'm like, "Can you just, like, not do that?" But then, like, if it's my own music, I'm like, "Yeah, I can't listen to this." It's funny how, like, our own interpretations of, like, our self will change how we, like, view the music or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't know. I think I'm making better progress with it because I recorded something on like a porcelain beat. I think like 2 days ago,
Mhm.
and I didn't hate how I sounded on it. And I was just using my actual voice, so I think I'm getting there, like slowly.
It takes a while.
Yeah, I don't know. Doing vocals is so daunting because it does take like years to get good at it, and it's like hard to feel like comfortable releasing anything when you don't like how you sound. But if you don't record, you're not gonna get better at it. That's like a whole thing.
Mhm.
Moving on though, so music is a sound-based medium, right? But I think the visuals are also a very important aspect of it. And your visuals especially add a lot to your music because you do like pretty much all your cover art, right? And then I know you edit your music videos yourself as well.
Yeah.
And I think there's a very distinct like almost like maximalist like look to it, I guess. Because you like blend a lot of stuff together. So I was curious like what your inspirations behind your visuals are.
I wouldn't say that there's, like, any, like, particular, like, person or, like, specific artists in general with, like, visuals and stuff. Because I only started doing, like, the edits and stuff, like, the way I did them on Instagram just because, like, I didn't just wanna post pictures of my face because I thought that was, like, boring. So I was like, "Let me just put some, like, weird" like, if we're talking, like, the old, like, 2021, like, things that I was posting, but, I was like, "Let me just put, like, weird, like, pictures of, like, cats and, like, random shit around it so that it's, like, more interesting." And so that's kinda how, like, that started, and then it just, like, evolved into more like, "Oh, I can actually, like, make cooler looking stuff." And I also think that a lot of my, like, digital, like, stuff is because I never really thought I could, like, draw or whatever, and mainly because I didn't have, like, any drawing ability. That's kind of, like, why I got more into, like, doing the, like, digital, like, edits and things like that. But for the music videos, me and Delcada, because he's the one with the editing software, so,
Mm-hmm.
like, we pretty much both just sit there and I basically just, like, tell him, like, what to, like, do
Oh, so you're more of
the
like a
whole time.
director for it.
Yeah, but I'm, like, very much, like, still pretty much doing everything, it's just, like, not my personal software.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I feel like what it inspires me, like, visually, it really just comes down to, like, I usually try to have some idea in my head beforehand what I want it to look like, I imagine in my head, and then it's a lot easier actually for me to do, like, visual stuff than music stuff because I can, like, pre-visualize it in my head and then put that down, and it's harder with music because it's like, okay, I know, like, kind of what I want a song to sound like, but it's harder for me to, like, envision a whole song in my head
Mm-hmm.
and what it will sound like as opposed to, like, you know, visually. But the maximalist kind of thing, I think that's just, like, me, like, thinking if I put more on it, it'll look better, which I don't really fully agree with. But and also, I don't know, I feel like a lot of my art is just like a response to, like, how I feel about other art and just, like, certain things in general. And I try to do this may be kinda cringe, but I try to do things in, like, a contrarian type of way. So, if I put, like, weird random, like, self-harm images on, like, a lot of things like that, well, that's also just because I was really, like, into that in general, like, back, like, pre-2020. But, yeah, I think a lot of it is just, like, whatever comes off the top of my head and just how I feel in the moment. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to say. And I'm trying to go in, like, a bit of a different direction now because I'm like set on like a specific aesthetic now. And a lot of the earlier stuff was just there wasn't that much like thought really put into it. It was kind of just let me just go in and like put something together, and now it's more of like I have an actual kind of aesthetic in mind. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. I think the cover for it, I think it's I Hate Everything, Everything is Gay, or something like that. It has like Nyan
Yeah.
Cat as the cover, and like that's it.
Yeah. I don't know. And I also just like to make things that I feel like a contrast. 'Cause I feel like a lot of the maybe it's just my opinion, but the covers don't necessarily fit the exact vibe of the song or whatever. Or maybe they do.
I think they do just because I feel like they're very like busy, like imagery kind of matches how the soundscapes are very like chaotic.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like me throwing things together and however I feel in the moment and just trying to make it look as like sometimes like look as fucked up and weird as possible.
Hmm. And speaking of looking at stuff, so you have a song with Marietta Medicine called PBS Kids, which you talked about before. So, what were some of your favorite cartoons slash like TV shows growing up?
Well, I already mentioned it earlier, but I said Aeon Flux, which is a not anime but looks like an anime. That was on MTV. It was like there's a bunch of like it started out as a bunch of shorts with like no speaking,
Hmm.
and then it became to like a I think 3 season series. But it's like the closest thing that I like that is like an anime because I'm probably like the one thing that I feel like sets me apart from a lot of people in this genre is that I just have no interest in anime and I'm not drawing at all from like anything like that. So there's that. So like elementary school and stuff, probably just like Cartoon Network things, like whatever was on at that time. Like I like Foster's Home for Imaginary
Hmm.
Friends, and like it's not on streaming anymore, but it should be Camp Laszlo. Do you know that one?
No, I haven't watched it, but I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad.
What?
In like middle school and stuff, I feel like I didn't really watch because like TV, because that's when like YouTube and shit was like that's all kids started watching then.
Hmm.
But like movies and stuff, like I already said, Girl Interrupted. I like Black Swan. I like. Oh, I just watched Wolf on Wall Street yesterday. That was a good movie. Um, hmm. I don't know. There's not as much like film that I feel like I take direct inspiration from, but I obviously like lots of movies and stuff, and try to get more into like that medium. I don't know. Honestly, like just everything in general kind of inspires me in some way, shape, or form. It's hard to say like what directly does.
Hmm. Back to that era of like Cartoon Network. Do you know My Gym Partner is a Monkey?
Yes, and I was almost gonna mention that one.
No, that one sucked, but I did watch it a lot as a kid.
Yeah, it's one of those that's like really terrible, and if you were to probably like rewatch it, it's like an adult, you'd be like, "Why in the hell did I watch this?"
Yeah, I watched a lot
But
of.
I really like I like Johnny
That's what I
Test
was
a
gonna say.
lot,
I was gonna
and
say that. I was gonna say that.
yeah, I knew you were about to say I knew you were about to say it, and I was like, I'll just say it. But yeah, I was like really into that for some reason, and then when I went back and like seen some of it as like or not even as an adult, but like a teen, I was like, "What the fuck? This is terrible." I don't know, like what makes children get into such terrible media, but I don't know. In a way, I enjoy things that are just like considered like objectively bad too. I feel like that's what kind of like the music that I felt like I started getting into because I was like trying to be anti like things that are good
Hmm.
and like let me get into things that are considered like bad, if that
So
makes any sense.
more of the like contrarian like mindset you talked about
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, like that's very much like high school me and like kind of how I like started viewing like art and things. I was like, let me just get into like whatever is considered like I guess a lot of stuff like outsider art or just like objectively like not good or doesn't really have a lot of like merit to it,
Mhm.
that type of stuff.
What are your thoughts on things like noise music then?
I have a lot of like noise music adjacent stuff that I really like. Let me try and think. Let me look at my list.
Okay.
My list
You
of
have a handwritten list for it?
yeah, it's my list. I put a Munchlax on it.
Okay.
Oh, I really like lots of Cybergrind. I started getting into that in like 2021. People like Thought Crime or like Blind Equation, Death Trippa. They're from like New Zealand or some shit. It's like not quite noise music, but like noise adjacent, just because
Mhm.
it's so like a lot going on. And like the music that I got into before I even started making music was like punk music, like G.G. Allen and like that type of stuff. And like the Misfits I got really into in like 2016, like before I even started making music. So that's where like a lot of my like stuff that I was like drawing from, like musically that I wanted to hear more of, just like loud, angry, fast type of stuff.
Mhm.
Or just like emotional. I feel like I just care more about like unless care less about like technical ability when it comes to like art and more just about pure like expression, I guess. Like what determines like what type of art I like.
Yeah. That's part of why I've always really liked music that's not in English, because I feel like for me to like it, there has to be like a really strong emotion for it, for because the lyrics like
Mhm.
essentially like don't matter. In that
Yeah, yeah.
case,
And there's someone I want to mention too. So she's from Argentina, I think. Or no, she's actually from Mexico City, but based in like Argentina. It's in English it's Bad Face Sarah, but in Spanish it's Sarah Malacara, I believe it's pronounced. And I got really, really, really well, I'm still really into her, but I have to put everyone on. So put her thing on the screen
okay, yeah.
for that. Because yeah, she's basically like obviously drawing from like Drain Gang and all that type of shit, but just like way, way better in my opinion. And just like really, really good. And it's just like crazy how, like, you can have no idea what the person is saying, and honestly, I think not knowing what they're saying makes the music better. Because then, like, you look up the lyrics sometimes, you're like, "Oh, okay, it's just, like, basic, like, whatever." But it, like, just the hearing just, like, the raw emotion behind it, like, adds so much, and, like, it's just I don't know, I think it's cool,
Mhm.
like you said earlier.
Yeah, are you familiar with, Paranol?
Maybe? I don't think so.
Okay, it's just like, I think they're Korean, but it's just like shoegaze artist that was like they first blew up in like 2021, and then people looked into the lyrics and are like, "Wow, this sucks," because apparently the lyrics are like really bad in Korean, but because I don't know what he's saying, it sounds really good to me. So,
Mhm. Yeah, that's, like, one of the reasons why I like foreign music so much because it's like they could literally be saying like the dumbest shit in the world, but like to you, like not knowing what it is, it could sound like the most like heartfelt, like emotional music ever.
me and Porcelain were talking about this recently actually, because are you familiar with Araquemos at all?
I wish I could hear what you were saying more,
Um,
but I don't know.
okay, but it's a Spanish speaking artist, right? And
Mhm.
there was some like song they had in Rate Your Music that was like really low rated, and we were confused because it sounds like gorgeous, so it has to be with the lyrics, but we don't know like what he's saying.
That's interesting. Like I don't know, like me personally, like even if it is like a song in English, I feel like the lyrics that's not entirely true. Sometimes the lyrics can totally ruin a song for me. So I get that, but it is cool to, like, not have that perspective on it and just purely hear it from, like, a tonal aspect. Sometimes I wish I could just listen to, like, English music like that in a way. And there's some music that I think is, like, really bad that I'll, like, hear on SoundCloud and will have, like, lots of, like, plays or whatever or likes, and I'll be like, "Do people just, like, not do they just ignore, like, what the person is saying and they just, like, hear the, like, melody and, like, that, and is that how they enjoy it?" 'Cause it must be.
I mean, that was how like Netspend was for me at first, because I was like, wow, he cannot flow, but these beats are crazy. But
It's funny because I really got into Netspend, like, a couple months ago.
no, I love him now, but like when I first like found him, I was like, oh, this is not. I don't know. I feel like with some artists, you might have to like kind of like Stockholm syndrome yourself into like their music if it's like weird at first and then you get used to it.
It's funny because that's how I feel with, like, the artists that I like the most, except for, like, Black Dresses. Because when I first song I heard by them was Eternal Nausea, and that was, like, an instant, like, "Okay, I gotta listen to every single song they ever made." But with, like, Grimes, even Delcada, just, like, so many people, even Arca, I was like it took me a while to, like, actually get into their
Mm-hmm.
music. There was, like, something that I liked about it, but, like, musically, at the time, I was like, it's not hitting for me." But then the more you listen to a song, doesn't even matter what song it is, it's like it'll grow on you eventually.
Yeah.
That's what, like, the radio does. I don't know,
I, I,
sometimes I listen will actually just put on the radio, like, if I'm in the car because 'cause I'm
mhm.
too lazy to connect the Bluetooth.
Actually, I feel like the radio is the opposite effect though, because if it's like if I don't like this song and then it gets like forced in my face like repeatedly, I'm gonna like it just like less. I feel like
Yeah. Yeah. But if you, like, actively seek it out and force yourself to listen to it, then, I feel like it's easier to get into it, and that's why I feel like music videos are so important. Because like, if a lot of songs, like, didn't have music videos, I feel like I would not have gotten into them or even the artists.
hmm
The video is just, like, what I go back to and, like, is cool.
yeah,
That's how I got really into Grimes was the Genesis video. I just kept rewatching it, and I didn't even really like the song. But then I just watched the video over and over and over again, and then it like you said, Stockholm Syndrome myself. And same with Delcada, like, the Neverlast, video. I just thought the video was, like, really, really cool, and at the time, I thought the music was, like I was like, "Wow, this is just, like, too, like, bad SoundCloud rap." But then I obviously got way into it.
yeah. Plus, it gives you more of an insight into the artist's like vision because it feels like
Style,
it
yeah.
feels way bigger when there's a video for it than when it's just like a random like song on SoundCloud.
Mhm. Yeah, it feels more established,
Yeah.
and that's why I like for the songs that do have videos of mine, those are like I'm like, "Okay, these are, like, the important ones."
hmm You know what else is important though? So in the last episode, I beat Exofilo, and this matchup right here is really important because no woman has ever beat me in rock paper scissors in these videos. So there's like a glass ceiling here, and you have the chance to be the one to beat me. So
Okay.
would you like to play rock
I
paper scissors?
because
Best two out
there's
of three.
yes. Do I have to, like, look away because there's lag?
You can just close your eyes when you do it.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Rock,
Rock,
paper,
paper,
scissors, shoot.
scissors, shoot.
Okay, we tied. Okay.
Okay.
Rock,
Rock,
paper,
paper,
scissors, shoot.
scissors, shoot.
Oh, okay. I beat you once, but that's not it. Just you can come back still.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Rock,
Rock,
paper, scissors,
paper, scissors,
shoot.
shoot.
Tied again.
Okay, this is
Okay.
a close one.
Rock, paper,
Paper,
scissors,
scissors,
shoot.
shoot.
Oh,
I
ooh,
did the
okay.
8.
Now we're tied. So this could be a historic moment here for
Okay,
Hidden Driveway, potentially.
okay,
Okay.
here we go.
Rock,
Rock,
paper,
paper,
scissors, shoot.
scissors, shoot.
Oh,
Damn
nope.
it!
Nope, it's not. Women suck at rock, paper, scissors. Yet again. What a
You
surprise.
still hold the title.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's I'm just goaded. That's what I've learned. Like I have a 60% win rate in rock, paper, scissors in these videos.
Dang. I've been trying I was literally, like, in my head, I was like, "Okay," like, trying to, like, do the ratio of, like, which is the most likely of you to, like, use.
No, I need to.
Good more.
At some point, if I'm bored, I'll probably like data crunch it and be like, "What move do you have to do to beat me, rock paper scissors, or whatever?"
Of course.
Because I'm sure I have a pattern, but I don't intentionally like go in with something that I try to do.
Yeah.
Moving on. Oh, this kind of ties in a little. So we've all had moments that can be humbling, such as losing a rock paper scissors, right? When you could have been the first woman to ever win, right? And you have a
Yeah.
song with Sad Femme called "Embarrassment." So if you don't mind me asking, what's the most embarrassed you've ever been? And if you can't think of something, I can go first because I have one in mind for me.
My like entire like school, I feel like experience was just one long embarrassing moment, honestly. I feel like just so much of my I feel like my whole life is just like one long embarrassing moment for the most part. But let me try to think of something specific. It's so hard because honestly, I like killed like half of my memories when I was just doing like Xanax for like a month and
Mm-hmm.
like well like 3 months in like 2022. So I like effectively just like erased all my embarrassing moments. That's probably the only good thing that happened from that
Yeah.
experience.
I guess I'll save mine in case it sparks something for you then. But when I was in eighth grade, I was going to my English class, and I sat down on this like melted gusher, right? And this isn't the
Oh
embarrassing part.
god.
I was like, oh, I got up and I was like, oh, and my teacher was like, what happened? And I was like, I sat on a melted gusher, and I'm not sure why I allowed this to happen because I could have just said no, but she was like, oh, I got it, and then I had to like bend over and she like wiped my ass in front of the entire class.
Wow.
Which is a very avoidable situation because I could have said, "Can I go to the bathroom?" But no,
Yeah,
I,
literally.
I just let it happen. I don't.
Yeah, just no shame, let it happen.
This is kind of during a time period because I feel like middle school is probably my peak of this, where I would get myself into scenarios on purpose because I thought like other people would think it was funny, like even though it was at my
Mhm.
expense.
That's a very like, yeah, middle school mentality to have, I feel like.
Because I didn't feel like I was like accepted, so I was like, maybe if they laugh at if I do, maybe that'll. It's like that's not. They should be laughing with
Yeah,
you, not at you.
that's like
I don't think I
similar
understood that.
that's like similar stuff that like Delcada has told me about himself before, so that's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is there anything like specific that comes to mind for you, or
I get embarrassed by like literally everything, so I feel like it would just be my life in general is just so uncomfortable.
I mean, I'm sure that's probably not true, but there's like I think part of it is just learning to brush that stuff off. Like I started college like a week ago, and I've already had probably like five like pretty bad like social interactions with people because I'm not the best at that. But it's you kind of just have to learn to like, oh well.
Yeah, I've gotten over it a lot, like within the past like 4 years, but leading up until then, no. I feel like I just avoided any type of interaction because I was like embarrassed too easily.
Mm-hmm. One thing my friend told me recently that I think was a pretty good advice was like not to care too much about like first impressions because like these people don't know you. So even if they think
Mhm.
something about you, like that doesn't really mean anything because like that's not. So like let's say I'm like really awkward when I first meet somebody, like and they think, oh, this guy's awkward, but like if I'm not, well, I am, but like if I know I'm not, and it was just like a bad like timing thing, like that doesn't really change anything.
Yeah, I mean, they could just like honestly at the end of the day, it's like it really does not matter what any one person thinks of you.
Yeah, because it's not like they're gonna tell you like, "Hey, you suck." Like that's not happening. Maybe in like middle
And
school, but
honestly,
not
for the most
not
part, people
now.
are way more concerned about themselves than like you. Like 99% of the time, they're thinking about how awkward they are, not you.
Yeah, so I think that's important to like take away is like because like we both aren't as embarrassed like of ourselves like now as we were during like our childhood. And I think that like that mentality is like a big part of that.
Mm.
On the flip side though, so you also have an instrumental song called "Slay Cunt," but like, why are you slay? Why are you serving cunt? Right. So I wanted to know What are some of your favorite things about yourself?
I like that I can make a song on a DAW. I do think I enjoy that my like digital art has, I think, gotten like a lot better and improved a lot over like the last couple years or so. I don't know, I think I just like that I can stay like determined to like do all this shit even though it's like a lot and it's not always like that. There's lots of bad stuff that has happened over the years, but like despite it all, I am proud that I'm still like here and like doing it even though a lot has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because like art is such like a passion driven thing. Like no one's making you still make music like this far into your like career, like life. That's just because you want to do it, which is awesome.
Mhm. And even though I've kind of lost some motivation goes like up and down. So like recently for like this year, it's been kind of on a downward slope, but there's been points where like it'll go back up and I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I actually do still enjoy this a lot."
Mm-hmm. And it's healthy to
And
take
that's one thing I've just
breaks.
learned. Yeah, because that's part of the reason why I like burnt out so hard at the end of 2022. Because like I was just basically all of 2022, my like combo was just like 30 milligrams of Adderall and like 2 milligrams, probably like 4 milligrams of like Xanax, like every day, just on FL Studio. Like any moment where I like was not at like work, basically, was just like grinding like insane amounts just on that, like inhuman levels of like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, eventually it just like you can't maintain that type of work ethic. So, of course, it just like crashed. And then, but now I feel better. It's been like over a year now. So, yeah. I want to make it clear I do not advocate for drugs or drug use, but I don't judge anyone that does.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better now.
Yeah.
And then as the episode comes to a close, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yes. So we already mentioned them earlier. I want to shout out Marietta Medicine again. I do think that they are underrated. Their music videos are really good. I encourage people to go watch them. Their editing, just in general, is good. Delcada, obviously, we already talked about them. Let me shout out I Feel Nauseous. They're one of my favorite artists, RIP. And then shout out to God and everyone else.
I mean, you have the poster in the background, so.
I did that for like lighting purposes, but also like because if it works, it's aesthetic purposes as
Mm-hmm.
well.
All right, well, we'll shout out God and shout out Bloodslide. Thank you for coming on today. This was really fun to do. All of our links will be in the
Yeah.
description down below, so please go check out our music if you haven't heard it before because it's awesome. And is there anything else you want to say?
Let me just show these Pokemon cards really quick. Here's that. Here's that. Here's that. And then these two. And that's all I want to say.
Okay, well, I'm Mamu. This has been the Hidden Driveway Show. Goodbye.